When did life first crack open? What came before the creature and the shell? How did evolution push us to this endless paradox? When did the egg appear before the bird who laid it? What scientific puzzle hides behind a backyard poultry farm? How could a mutation in one egg change everything? Let's start. Long before chickens strutted across barnyards, eggs were ancient vessels of life. Fish laid eggs nearly 500 million years ago, amphibians followed. Reptiles, dinosaurs, and early birds all inherited this fundamental reproductive tool. The simple conclusion: eggs came first, cradles of life evolving through eons, long before chickens ever clucked. Using paleontology and embryology, scientists reconstruct that eggs evolved repeatedly, shells hardened from leathery membranes to calcified shields, protecting developing embryos from predators and environment. By the Triassic period, creatures that looked like birds began to wield these hardened eggs. Evolution often repeats success. The protobird, the ancestor of modern chickens, probably survived because it inherited the egg from reptilian forebears, hundreds of millions of years earlier than its first feather. Yet the question persists: what if we define chicken egg differently? Those ancient eggs weren't chicken eggs, but the biological container existed. What's about chickens? When did those appear? That's where Darwinian genetics and molecular biology enter the story. Enter the proto-chicken, birds indistinguishable from modern chickens except genetically. Somewhere, in a primordial nest, two proto-chickens mated. Their offspring carried a rare mutation, small genetic tweak that differentiated it enough to be classified as the first true chicken. That mutation likely occurred during fertilization or early embryonic cell division, in the egg. It's not the bird that matters, but the egg's DNA. The shell it came wrapped in carried mutations. So technically, the first true chicken hatched from an egg laid by a bird that was almost, but not quite, a chicken. Evolutionary biologists Alexander et al., 2013, confirmed, speciation through point mutation in zygote can create new species instantly when threshold is crossed. Thus the decisive twist: the egg containing the first chicken existed before the chicken itself, because eggs predate chickens. But the question of ownership, was it a chicken egg? Hinges on definition. If a chicken egg refers only to eggs laid by chickens, then the first chicken must exist before it could lay the egg, making the chicken come first in definition, not biology. The heart of the paradox lies in semantics. What defines a chicken egg? Two competing definitions exist. Strict definition: an egg laid by a chicken. Biological definition: an egg that contains a chicken. Under the strict definition, someone must be the first chicken to lay the first chicken egg, suggesting the chicken preceded the chicken egg. This philosophical lens twists the logic: only a chicken can lay a chicken egg, so the chicken came first. However, by the biological definition, the mutation occurs in the zygote. An egg containing a chicken must exist before the chicken hatches, implying the egg comes first. Evolution obeys biology, not semantics. That first egg came from a non-chicken, but still carries the embryo that mutated into chicken DNA. In Darwin's theory of gradualism, species transform gradually, but genetic thresholds define speciation. The origin of species concept shows that evolution is continuous, but taxonomy is discrete. That threshold between proto-chicken and chicken likely occurred in an egg. So, even under philosophical debate, biologically, the egg wins. Modern genetics explains speciation through mutation: genes replicate with occasional errors. Most mutations are neutral, or lethal, but occasionally, a beneficial change occurs. That change can be in mitochondrial DNA, or nuclear DNA. In a chicken's case, changes to zygote chromosomes made a new genotype. Imagine two proto-chickens, nearly identical to modern chickens, mate. Their fertilized egg carries thousands of genes identical to their parents, but one DNA-based substitution occurs in a key gene affecting comb shape, feather coloration, or early embryonic growth. That change could be classified as new species-level trait. When the hatchling emerges, scientists might identify it as genetically distinct enough to call it Gallus domesticus. Thus, a genetic mutation in the egg determined the first chicken. That embryo's DNA made the chicken that was different. Only after hatching did that chicken grow to lay eggs. But the mutation's origin was inside the egg. Eggs have been around for far longer. The biological container preceded the modern chicken. This question isn't just science, it's philosophy. Ancient Greeks debated it in metaphysical terms. Aristotle famously argued the chicken must come first, eggs are forms without substance, and the first chicken must create the egg. It's a linear causality model plotted in his treatises. Yet Aristotle also accepted that species are eternal. Modern philosophy challenges linear causation. If evolution is a continuum, the paradox dissolves. The proto-chicken versus chicken line is blurry, but taxonomy demands discrete categories. Philosophers ask, how many mutations define a new species? Is the mutating organism enough, or must the offspring diverge further? From a logic angle, circular causality emerges. The egg is needed for chicken, chicken needed for egg. Some modern philosophers propose a co-emergence model, egg and chicken as simultaneous outcomes of an evolutionary process, making the question moot. Ultimately, definitions shape the answer, scientifically, egg, philosophically, ambiguous. Across cultures, origin stories tackle the chicken-egg theme. Hindu cosmology speaks of creation cycles with egg-like universes, Brahmanda. Chinese Taoism sees chaos emerging from cosmic egg metaphors. European fables sometimes say the rooster crowed first. Indigenous African myth sometimes links chickens to divine ancestry. These stories reveal humanity's need for linear origin narratives, and symbolic causality. But they don't tackle genetics or speciation. In modern folklore, jokes persist, which came first? Engaging scriptwriters, like the entire history, explore these with light poetic visuals, but always come back to science for resolution. Ancient philosophers, religious texts, and modern storytellers all agree on one thing: origins evoke mystery, but the chicken-egg debate is less myth than biology. The narrative resonates because it straddles science and ancient symbolism. Practice segments of our video can intercut mythic animations with CGI visuals of protoplasm mutating in primordial ooze, while keeping historical references visually grounded. The chicken egg is a specific example of a general biological rule: species evolve inside reproductive containers. Consider mammals. Placental mothers give birth to other mammals. The concept extends: birds lay eggs with hard shells to shelter embryos. Even humans. The human egg existed long before Homo sapiens emerged. Evolutionary theory identifies Wolbachia-induced speciation in insects, ring species in birds and salamanders, cases where gene flow continues but taxonomy splits. The principle stands: the embryo-bearing structure, egg or womb, existed prior, long before specific species evolved. So every organism owes its existence to a reproductive container that predated its lineage. That means the sculpture of life often precedes the statue. The egg, the architecture of life, existed long before specific species. Biology favors forms before organisms. In that sense, no chicken can lay a chicken egg without the long lineage of eggs and mutation. So evolution's story may be continuous, but the answer, for us, is clear: the egg. The question flickers between semantics and biology. If humanity defines chicken-egg as being laid by a chicken, the chicken would seem to precede. But evolution doesn't respect language boundaries, it respects genes. The first true chicken emerged from a proto-chicken egg through mutation. So, the egg came before the chicken, biologically incontrovertible. That decision point exists in evolutionary genetics. Biology beats semantics. Yet the paradox remains emotionally satisfying. It's not just a trivia question, it's a reflection on how life evolves, how definitions matter, how humanity struggles with origins. And a final reflection: Could a similar paradox await artificial intelligence or genetically engineered species? What about next-gen synthetic life forms? Will they hatch inside human ethical eggs? The question evolves beyond chickens and eggs, and becomes a metaphor for humanity's future.